here. Sorry, I'm setting up a poll, so you're gonna have to bear with me. Hey, Jarl, how's it been? How's it going? How you doing? How you doing? I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Nice. Nice. Yeah, it's a coffee stream tonight. We do a coffee stream every Sunday, of course. So, big chillin' right now. So, with my Naruto mug. Well, not my Naruto mug, but I've absconded it for the night. I'm feeling pretty good today. Just got some cooking done. Nice. Yeah, today's my rest day, of course. I'll be up first thing in the morning working, and then I'm gonna probably work out late tomorrow. So I got a lot going on tomorrow. A lot of people want to see me. Tomorrow, so we're gonna go see all of them. Be a good time. But so on Sundays we rest. Sundays are rest day. I work out 6 days a week, and then we hit the chair here on Sundays and relax out a little bit. How's it going? Yeah, it can throw people off though. It tends to throw people off. They're so used to seeing me under a bar. Oh yeah, 100%. I brought the mug. Don't worry, I brought the mug. This tends to be a very, very sensitive subject. So, Post, the couple of times I've mentioned it in the past, people get very, very sensitive about it. So we're going to do a poll today. We're going to find out what people think. All right. Nah, it's too late now, y'all. You got to go now. You already said it. In fact, legs. Bulgarian split squats specifically, I feel like, are what you should be doing at the moment. Bulgarian split squats. Tons of fun. For reps, 100 reps, each leg. So I've seen bits and pieces of Dragon Ball Z, but Naruto, I've watched the vast majority of the episodes. There's obviously the new stuff with like Boruto. I never watched Boruto, but obviously they're different shows. They're same characters with some new characters, but different shows. I'd say Naruto is definitely like my favorite, like mainstream anime. Right, I would say second favorite mainstream anime, but it's the only one most people consider an anime that's on my list. As far as my top three, because my number one is Avatar, The Last Airbender. But everybody's like, that's a cartoon, not an anime. It's an anime. If you want to pull at straws, I guess you could say it's not, but it is. But you know, and then on that list, Full Metal Alchemist makes an appearance. Yeah. I never got into it. Yeah, so here's the thing. I grew up in that era where it was on Toonami every night, and never every time I saw it was coming on, it never caught my interest. I just couldn't want to watch it. Does that make sense? Like I couldn't force myself to watch it. So it's one of those things of like I guess if I had maybe if I had given it more of a chance, I would have liked it. Who knows? Who knows? Pokemon, Digimon, top tier. Never watched Sailor Moon. I think it qualifies. I think it qualifies. Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure it qualifies. So there's a moving bar for what qualifies and what doesn't qualify. I found out. To me, really anything in that art style is considered an anime. And then I guess there's another rule I guess that I was unaware of, that it has to be made in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. Like it has to be a Japanese cartoon. And I feel like that's an arbitrary bar to set, right? Like I get it, but well, so here's the thing: a lot of things used to air on Nickelodeon. There was animes that we consider animes now that aired on Nickelodeon. It I've been told the difference between an anime and a cartoon is just where it was made. If it's made in the U.S. or anywhere else in the western side of the world, then it's cartoon. If it's made in Japan, then it's an anime. And I find that that's an arbitrary bar to set, right? It's the difference between like what is it like certain wines can only be grown, the grapes can only be grown in certain areas, and I same arbitrary bar for most people. It for generally tastes about the same. And I know some people are big into their wine and they think they taste a little bit like different types of wine obviously taste a little different. But you give me two red wine, I don't drink anymore, but you ever gave me like two red wines to try, I wouldn't have been able to tell you the difference most likely. Yeah, so yeah, King of the Hill would be like American anime. Um, there was something I learned the other day. I'm trying to remember. Oh, so the what is it? Power Rangers. What was it that I learned about the Power Rangers the other day? So if I'm not mistaken, the Power Rangers, what all of the filming of the Power Rangers was done with like the actual scenes of them doing like the fights and stuff were recorded from another series that we don't call Power Rangers. I can't remember where it's from. It might be Japan. And we actually just recorded scenes with actors for the parts where they needed to be outside of their costumes, and just added those to the already filmed bits. So the Power Rangers we grew up with is a lie. It's a lie, I found out. That's what I found out. I don't know how true it is. I saw an article about it. I usually double check things, but don't quote me. That might be incorrect. But that's what I read. Is that all of the scenes where they fight, all of those scenes where they're in costume, are all recorded from another series and were repurposed to the American series and renamed Power Rangers. And that they just recorded with American actors for these parts where they're not in costume. Um, but everything else was a carryover. I can't remember what it was called, the other show. But it's kind of upsetting because Power Rangers is such a big item for most people. You never heard of Power Rangers? There's no way. Or have you never heard of the situation with Power Rangers? Everybody's heard of Power Rangers, right? I don't believe it, Yarl. You're messing with me. Okay. There we go. I was like, there's no way. All right. We're good. We're good. I was so confused. I was like, I didn't know that was a thing you could just not hear about. It's like Pikachu. Everybody knows Pikachu, right? So um what was it the other thing? So at one point when I was working at the gym, the big box gym, in Columbia, we had That's what it is right there. David found it. David found it. Um, so when I was working for the big box gym in Columbia, it we did a poll, right? We had like a little sheet and people could check off whether which one was more they thought was more recognizable in the world, right? What's up, Jamal? How you doing, boss? Just some coffee tonight. Just some coffee tonight. But which one's more recognizable, Goku or Pikachu, right? And we had someone at the gym that was convinced he was a diehard Dragon Ball Z fan, right? So he would say, he was like, Goku's the most recognizable. Everybody knows Goku. Pikachu's not going to win, right? And I was like, I think you're underestimating how big Pikachu in Pokemon is, right? And we put both of them side by side, pictures of them, and we had people check the sheet that they thought was more recognizable. People were coming in, and people that weren't even into anime, Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, any of that stuff, knew who Pikachu was. Only people that knew what were into that stuff knew who Dragon Ball or who Goku was. They knew he was from a show, and they knew vaguely what the show was. Obviously, it's big enough to have that kind of recognition and be recognized, but they didn't know who the character was. They just called it Dragon, the Dragon Ball show. But when they saw Pikachu, they're like, yeah, that's Pikachu from Pokemon. So Pikachu won by a landslide, like a landslide. But people don't realize how big Nintendo and Pokemon Company are. They're massive. Yeah, Sundays are rest day. Sundays are rest days. Pikachu and Pokemon are massive, massive. They're absolutely huge. The amount of products they sell, the amount of like recognition, I would put it up there with like Coca-Cola and Mickey Mouse. Like they do the thing where like Mickey Mouse is recognized on almost every continent in every town, everywhere by everybody. I'd put Pikachu up there with them. What's up, Mark? Where were you last night, Mark? You didn't show up. It's kind of sad. Part-time in it, huh? The title is true. The title is true. There's a poll to prove it. There's a poll. We have 30 minutes tonight. You guys can vote on this poll. What's up, Marcos? You have 30 minutes tonight, guys. And this poll will be the end-all, be-all of this conversation. All right? I don't know. I don't know if Mario's more recognizable than Pikachu. It's definitely a close match otherwise. I have a lot of Pokemon memorabilia in my home. Like a lot. Not even close. Not even close. And we're talking about as a show, by the way, as a show. I gathered, Mark. I did. I've never seen Berserk. My wife watched Berserk. I've never seen Berserk. That's okay. You get a pass, Marcos. Mark doesn't get a pass. Marcos, you get a pass. I am very correct. I would say Dragon Ball Z is like a C tier anime, in my opinion. It's a C tier anime. Maybe B. I'll give it B tier. I don't know. That's my opinion, and it's right. You know, that's all there is to it. I appreciate the like. I do. So here's the thing, right, guys? So I'm gonna blow your mind, right? And I'm gonna tell you what the best anime is, because I said that it's better, but I didn't tell you what the best one was, right? The best anime is Avatar: The Last Airbender, hands down. Yu-Gi-Oh is up there. Yu-Gi-Oh is actually a really good anime. Oh, it definitely would exist, 100%. Pokemon is more recognizable for sure. The brand recognition for Pokemon is massive. Massive. It is an anime. It is an anime. I've never seen Cowboy Bebop. That's pulling hairs, man. Look, the whole it can't be American made and be an anime. I don't. That's redundant in this conversation. Which show is better? They're both in the same style. Which show is better? It's crazy. It's crazy. It's an anime. It's an anime styled show. Whether it's made overseas or in the U.S. is redundant. Its geographical location is purely people trying to be fancy. I've gathered, Mark. I've gathered. It's very, very, very similar art style, extraordinarily. Maybe not exact to Dragon Ball, but it's an anime art style. Yu-Gi-Oh was a good. I liked Yu-Gi-Oh. But I liked Pokemon better. Digimon never really got into it. No, I never watched that one. Anime is just a cartoon as well. I'm sorry to tell you, they're all cartoons. I watch it, guys. I watch it, but it's all cartoons, man. It's all cartoons. It's just what we want to call it. That's all it is. And Avatar is even if you don't want to call it an anime, it's 100% a better show. 100% a better show. I can't get into Digimon, Jamal. I can't get into it. I tried as a kid to get into it. Couldn't. Happy Sunday. Yeah, I'm not saying it's Japanese, and I get that it has to be Japanese, but it is better. It's way better. I'm not saying that Dragon Ball Z is bad, by the way, guys. I just don't like it as much as these other shows. Yeah. So like the beef you get from one region is called something else to a beef in another region. Like Kobe beef, if I'm not mistaken, can't be made anywhere but one area, right? And then the same thing with Wagyu, but we make American Wagyu, but it's identical now. It's been perfected to the point where you can pretty much have Wagyu cows anywhere now, but we can't call it Wagyu. We have to call it American Wagyu, right? Or you have to call it Australian Wagyu. It's the same concept. Aang would win 100%. Uh, Not into Inuyasha, to be honest. Yeah, at no point did I say Dragon Ball Z is a bad anime, right? I just didn't get into it. I didn't think it was a better anime. So I don't know if I've ever heard of Samurai 7, I'm gonna be honest. Naruto's winning. I agree with that. So here's my thing, right? The one thing that Dragon Ball Z did. So here's we'll talk about that point as well. But so that's not true, Cowboy. I'm gonna get to that point here in a second as well. So the fact that it's an American American cartoon, if you don't want to call it an anime, right, does not necessarily mean it's a worse show, because Avatar is arguably one of the best animated series that's ever been made, right? If you just go off of purely its rating, how many people have watched it, how many people have attached themselves to it, there's no arguing it's not one of the best shows ever made. Story, one of the best ever designed. World building, amazing. Animation, amazing, right? I like Avatar better than Naruto as well. So the other part, right? It's great. Avatar's great. I watched Avatar before that big rush on it in 2020, and I watched it again in 2020 when everybody was rushing it on Netflix. I sat back and watched it again with my kids. I'm not. Yeah, Naruto definitely inspired a lot of cardio, right? So now here's another one. Here's another one that's really high up on the list for me. Full Metal Alchemist is really high up on the list for me. I wouldn't put it in my top three, but it's up there. Yeah, we don't do cardio. You won't ever catch me running, but um, like Full Metal Alchemist is up on the list for me. I wouldn't give it best, but it's close. It's really good. I feel like they did Rock Lee super dirty, right? Like he had so much potential to be even better than he was, and they just didn't give him enough screen time. Didn't I wasn't a big fan of Legend of Korra actually. Not on Sundays. On Sundays we rest, Eric. It is okay. So that fight, the Rock Lee Gara fight, one of the best anime fights. It's so good, and they didn't have to overdo it. That was the best part. Like it wasn't over the. It was over the top, but it wasn't like over the top, right? I did not know. Hold on. So Mike Guy, also a character that I feel like was overshadowed for no reason. Mike Guy was really good. I didn't like Boruto either. I'm not a big on the sequels, guys. Like the secondary series to each of these, I just never get into them. Maybe it's because I'm older now, 30 years old, but I still get into shows. It's just I didn't get into Boruto. I didn't get into Legend of Korra. Maybe it's because I'm so attached to the original storyline that I can't get into it. I watched a bit of Attack on Titan. It wasn't bad at all. It's a really good show. I just never finished it. So didn't they give an explanation for why he survived the eight gates? They gave an explanation for that for sure. I can't remember what it was. Can't remember what it was. Hold on one second, guys. Let's see. Katara would one shot Goku 100%. 100%. So you guys want to know. Look, we're Finding Nemo top tier series or top tier show. Jamal, you are not incorrect. I found this out. I was doing one of those things where you scroll YouTube, right, and you end up on like videos, like when you get into that click, like you keep clicking, right, and you just end up on some weird videos. Um, so I came across a video on like anime and cartoon protagonists who's the strongest, and you know who ends up being the strongest when you take all of their abilities. And they did a big list, like they had like Superman and all those other people in there, right? Goku. You know who ends up winning? You know who ends up is not Zeno. It's not Zeno. I'm gonna let you know right now. It's not Zeno. It's not Naruto. It's not Goku. You know who ends up winning as the strongest of the pack? Ben 10. It was Ben 10. Ben 10 wins. That I'm sorry to tell you guys. And it's because of Ben 10, the guy with the watch. Do you remember that show? The guy with the watch that he has aliens in? Yep. He is the strongest. And I didn't know this. I didn't watch the series that long because it came out when I was a little, like I was probably in my like mid-teens. So I had a lot of other stuff going on, obviously. But let me explain, right? Yeah, so one of the aliens he gets later in the show, I guess, is called Alien X, and it's like literally God. And he can transform the entire universe, right? He can just like crush it and like recreate it in his hand over and over again. So like he becomes like omnipotent at some point in the show. I was like dumbfounded. I was like, I didn't know it got that far. I just knew he could turn into a fiery guy at one point, and a rock guy, and a diamond guy. Like that's where I was, right? Um, and then they're like, yeah, no, it got to a point where he was like omnipotent in the show, and I was like, oh, that got that escalated quickly. Like it's a lot different than the original 10, right? So I must have missed so much. I feel like there's a lot that they must have went. The show must still be going if they've gotten that far. I imagine that's a lot. That's a lot. They do. So here's the thing though, right, Sean? So his watch is like ultimate plot armor because once he gets the Alien X DNA, Alien X is related to everything in the universe of every universe according to the show, I guess, right? So he can become Goku, he can become Zeno, he can become Superman. Like he can literally become anybody, right? So it's like the biggest plot armor ever made. Other than Superman. Superman has some really strong plot armor. A lot of people don't realize. Superman's character is literally designed, and I believe it was like canon, that however strong his opponent is, he automatically becomes slightly stronger. Like that's his plot armor. Like that it's like written into his character. Like if his opponent is a 9, he's a 10. If they're a 10, he's an 11. Well, there's no 14. Well, we're gonna make a 15 to make him stronger. So he's like built-in plot armor, Superman. He always can get one. He's always automatically a step ahead of his opponent. I'm very rarely wrong. I don't know that I've ever been wrong, Mark. I'm gonna be honest. If you can name one time, it's never happened. It is. I was surprised, Sean. I was surprised. I didn't make that scenario up. That's literally the plot. Like it's written into it. I wasn't wrong. It just didn't go well. It went up. It just also went down. Nothing I can do about that. No, so with the Batman Superman fight, right? I haven't watched the new Superman. No, the Batman Superman fight, right? We know that with the whole with prep time, Batman can take anybody out. They've actually done that scenario in the shows, in the magazine, the comic books, um, in the movies, right? And like canon, Batman can win. Now, it's usually because Superman is never at 100% potential, right? So, 100%, Brian. Jamal, what are they? Fast and Furious. I watched all the way to Fast Five. I didn't watch anything after Fast Five. It got a little bit far fetched for me. I like the series, but after Fast Five, there was a little bit too much going on. Ah, I see. I see. I feel like Superman's moral compass would stop him from doing so, Mark. That's the thing about Superman, right? So don't forget, Superman does have a unique weakness to kryptonite, right? We have seen it be effective with Doomsday, right? So, uh, with the Doomsday fight and things along those lines, like there was krypton, or was it Doomsday that had kryptonite like built in or something? We know kryptonite works, right? I do not. No, no, no. I take creatine and pre-workout. That's it. I'm a natural power lifter. I don't take peptides either, so just creatine and pre-workout. Let's see. Um, I didn't say it was a steroid. I just told you what I take, and then I'm a natural lifter. I throw it all out there in one sentence because I get asked so often. I don't take. I always put the natural part at the end. So that's usually the next question I get. I get asked that question almost once a night. My diet is very specific. Yes. I watch a lot. I would say a lot. I don't watch a lot of TV in general, but I do watch documentaries. When I do sit down, it's usually something like a documentary or some kind of thing along those lines. Something educational, generally for me now. Once in a while, I'll sit down and watch some Rings of Power with my wife, but generally, it's if I'm on my own watching something for some reason, it's a educational or some kind of uh, uh, something along those lines. What's up, Chase? Welcome back, boss. Hopefully, work's going good for you. Hope everything's going well. So, the thing about Superman is his potential. His potential is a lot higher than they let it be because he's always slightly more powerful than his opponents, right? But he's constantly holding back. And the reason he's doing that is because if he punched at full power, even if he just punched at full power, he would like the earth would turn into a fireball. Like he's that strong, right? Now I think there's only a couple of characters in any of the universes that even come close. Like certain versions of Hulk come close. Obviously, like Zeno could come close, I guess. The ones we've already talked about. But Superman is like he can punch holes in time like that. He's a broken character. He's a broken character, and the further you get into the comics, the more broken his character becomes. I don't read comics on a runner at all, so I can't tell you exactly. But as far as I've heard and seen and things I've ingested, as far as his lore, the times that I see the videos, he has some very broken comic moments. So, and here's the thing about Goku. Goku has. All right, I'm gonna say this, and it's true. And you got. I mean, it may not be true in every single instance, but it's close to every single instance. Goku has lost to almost every single opponent that he's ever fought. He has to get clapped one time before he's able to beat anybody. Like he he always gets clapped once, and then he comes back and wins the fight later, right? So I feel like if you have to lose one time, that's kind of rough. So, I have a short stream tonight, guys. I'm gonna end this poll and we're gonna close up stream for the night. Give me 1 second. Let's see. All right, ending the poll. Let's see where we're at. It's a 50-50. Wow. Wow. I should have looked at it and had someone else vote first. Wow. That's upsetting. That's upsetting. I wanted a definitive answer. We'll run the poll again another day. But all right, guys, I'm gonna close up the stream for the night. We do a short one. We do a short one on prison school. I'll take a look at it. Can't guarantee I'll watch it, but I'll take a look at it. I don't get a lot of watch time. But if I get the opportunity, I'll take a peek. But I'll see you guys tomorrow for the workout. Probably gonna be later, like I said. So I'll see you guys then.